Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Harvi Miller and welcome to our course on business statistics. Now, as you well know, this is a web course and I'm quite excited about this because this is the very first time I'm doing this. So I'm looking forward to the experience and I am hoping that together we will actually enjoy the course, and of course I will learn from the experience and use that learning to improve the course over time. So I'm just going to go over a couple of quick things with you that are very important for succeeding in the course. And then basically we will connect with each other online on a weekly basis or every 2 weeks for sure to make sure that progress is being made. Okay? So let us start out with first and foremost the course outline, which I would like each and every one of you to read. It's extremely important that you read the course outline because failure to do so will make it difficult for you to successfully complete the course. So let's just kind of go through the basics. So the course is online, as you well know, and those of you who have done 1205, 1206, you're familiar with what we do in the management science area. So here's our course outline. This particular web course, I'm the only one teaching it, and we're not going to coordinate it with the other statistics courses because it's kind of difficult to coordinate a web course with a face-to-face course. So this is actually being run in parallel, but of course in our own way. Excuse me. So we have the sort of standard course outline with our course description, the program goals that we're attempting to accomplish with this course, and then of course the course objectives itself. Now the course objectives basically is to introduce you to statistics so that you could learn how to use data in making decisions. It's very crucial that you understand how data plays a role in decision making, and so we'll introduce you to a number of tools that you can use to support decision making in a business context. All right. In terms of the textbook, essentially the textbook that we will use will be different from what is being used by the folks that are doing the face-to-face course. The book is called Statistics for Business and Economics, the 13th edition, and that's by Anderson, Sweeney, Williams, Cam, and Cochran. And that particular textbook comes with an access code. So we do require that you purchase either the access code or the bundle, but you must have the access code for the course. You cannot do the course with just a textbook alone or a random textbook and then survive. If you're going to use a different textbook, that's fine, but you still need the access code for the course. And I'll explain that very shortly. Now, it really doesn't make sense purchasing a used textbook that is different from what we use for the course because of the fact that the access code is about $100, and I believe the textbook bundled with the access code is about $125. So you get a loose leaf sort of base version, and for $25 extra, you could actually get the textbook brand new in loose leaf format. So it does not make sense to purchase a used textbook elsewhere, since you must spend a minimum of $100 to be part of this course. Okay, so the $125 you get the book and the access code from the bookstore. Now, if you're the kind of person that is quite okay with just reading a textbook online, the access code will give you access to an e-version of the textbook in a platform called MindTap, which I'm about to explain. So if you are totally comfortable with that, you could just spend $100, get the access code, and have access to the e-textbook. Okay? So it's totally up to you. You have a choice: either buy the bundle with the access code from the bookstore for $125, I believe, or you can actually purchase the access code only. All right? So that's fine. In terms of the evaluation, you will have 5 assignments that will be scheduled throughout the term, and then 2 online tests that will be 30%, and then of course the final will be taken online as well for 55%. Now the rule is that you must pass the final to pass the test, and so therefore it's important that you take the course very seriously and not just assume that if you have good coursework marks that you could sort of lay back on the final exam. it will be required that you must pass the final to pass the course. Okay. Um, so I'm going to talk to you a bit about this platform that we have called MindTap. Right. So MindTap is something I discovered 2 years ago, which is a platform, an interactive learning platform that was developed by Nelson, or it's called Cengage Brain, as the brand name Cengage MindTap. And essentially what MindTap does is allows me to take the textbook and all the material that I want to cover in the course and create a learning path, and all of the different sections that I want to have covered, the sequence. I could put in the learning path my own material, my own videos, or I could also add to it tutorials that I could develop online, such as using YouTube, and then put the URL for the tutorials in line with the various sections of the course. So it allows me to customize things very, very, very nicely. But lo and behold, the platform itself has its own videos to accompany the textbook, where it explains various sections of the course or the topics. And so there are demonstrated examples, video demonstrations or explanations that you can actually follow directly inside of MindTap. So it's a wonderful platform. So I could augment those videos with my own, which I actually have, because I do have a YouTube channel with several video lectures that I would like you to use for the course. So you will have a combination of MindTap, which is an interactive learning platform that allows you to do practice quizzes, quizzes for grades. I will actually establish the assignments, the quizzes, and the final exam all inside of MindTap. And MindTap offers you videos, video explanations of various topics and so on. So that plus what I have produced on my own gives you a rich platform of material to do well in the course. If you decide to take it upon yourself to learn the material. We know that in an online format there is the temptation to get others to do your work for you. You're only cheating yourself. All right? So I'm expecting that each and every one of you will show the integrity and take the initiative to do the work that needs to be done by yourself. Now, clearly, we have a history of students working together to understand the material, to learn it. That's fine. But when it comes to doing an assignment or doing a test, you have to do that test yourself. You have to do that quiz yourself. Otherwise, you're cheating. But we do not want to see that happen in the course. And I'll assume that everyone will act with integrity and do the work themselves. Okay, so that's a very, very important point for us to make sure that we follow. So MindTap is extremely valuable, and each and every student must, and I say must with capital M, must enroll in MindTap at the beginning of the semester, not halfway through. And if you're thinking twice about staying in the course, that's a different matter. But if you're planning on staying in the course, you need to register immediately because we will have assignments coming up very shortly, and then you need to start following through on the material. I will be doing reviews as opposed to full-scale lectures because the material is already embedded in MindTap. Okay? And plus my video lectures as well. So I'm looking forward to you engaging with the material in that way. Okay? So Cengage MindTap, the instructions for that, if you go to the end of the course outline, I have provided some instructions on how you access your MindTap course. So it's down towards the end of the discussion sections of the course outline. How to access MindTap, what is it, registration. So essentially you would click on this link right here. It would take you to the MindTap course, and that MindTap course is my MindTap course as opposed to a random course. It has a particular code, as you can see here, MTPP MHNP0GNL. That is the code for our course. Once you get there, if you have an access code that you purchase with the textbook, then you will be prompted to create an account and then enter the access code. However, if you decide that you want to purchase the access code online, you could purchase it using a credit card. And remember that the access code alone is about $100. And you could do that. And then you will have access to an e-textbook. Okay? It's fairly simple. I want you to make sure that when you register, I would need you to enter your A number. So it's important that you register and you include your A number with your, not your S number, please, your A number with your registration. So that way I could tag your name to your A number. Okay? And that's very important. The schedule for the course is fairly well laid out, I would like to believe. Each week what you ought to cover so that you pace yourself. And all of the material is already there. It's already there in MindTap. It's already there with my videos. And you could actually move ahead of us. You don't have to wait according to this particular schedule. But certainly the schedule helps you with creating a rhythm for the semester. However, if you're only doing 2 courses or 3 courses and have extra time, you certainly can push ahead and push ahead with the assignments, because I am going to make the assignments available ahead of time so that those who are fast can actually do the assignments right away, or if you want to take your time, do it in the week that is actually due. Okay, and you'll get immediate feedback because it's actually graded online itself. Okay, so those assignments are there. As you can see, all the various chapters, well, let's go from the first week, the week of the semester that we're in, the class number, the actual day itself, and I'm thinking that we will basically meet on a Monday evening from 5 to 8:30 online to do some tutorials and reviews and so on. A little bit of lecturing, but not too much, because like I said, the lecture is already more or less prepared, and MindTap has also video lectures as well. The topic covered, what we expect to learn, and here are the links you will see prior to class. So prior to coming to the session, to the online session, I would like you to have reviewed or watched the video lectures that I've already prepared for you. And so that when we meet online, it is ready to just do some examples and to ask questions for clarification. I have also included in our Brightspace homepage some practice problems for you, and you could so a handout that is taking problems out of the textbook, and I could use some of those same problems to do the tutorials when we do meet online. Okay, but it gives you a chance to practice some of those, see how well you understand the material. So you would have gone through the video lecture, review the examples done in MindTap, and then these problems you will attempt to see if you understand the material, and then I will review those problems online. So that is basically the format that we're going to use. So all of these links here are links to YouTube videos that I have already created. In the very last column, you will see the assignments when they do assignment 1 due on January 29th, assignment 2 due on Sunday, February 12th, and so forth. And then we have the quizzes. We'll see the very first one will take place February 18th to 19th over that weekend. So we give you a time window, but the test will be 90 minutes long. And then once you start that test, you have 90 minutes to complete it. Okay, so you will have a Saturday, Sunday time window to do that test. The second one will be in March 25th to 26th, and the final exam will be, we will have that scheduled pretty much at the end of the course. All right, the date for that will be given to you at a much later time. So that's, in a nutshell, folks, is the course outline, and it's fairly, self-explanatory. And so I'm hoping that if you have any questions, you could certainly send me an email using the Brightspace portal, so that way we do our communications with Brightspace. All right. The course itself does not really require that you go through Brightspace all the time. Once you've established the account in MindTap, you could actually go directly to Cengage and log into the course without going via Brightspace. But Brightspace will have supplementary materials. In the last semester, I used Google Drive to provide supplementary materials to my students, but this time we'll just use Brightspace. Makes life a lot easier. All right. And to see your progress, your coursework marks, essentially what you will be doing is you would just monitor your marks in MindTap. You can do that, but we will attempt to download the marks from MindTap and sort of upload them back into D2L, into Brightspace. That we're still working out because there's some technical challenges with integrating MindTap and D2L. We're still working on that with ITSS. Okay, so that is the course outline. Now let's take a look at the MindTap page and see what that looks like. Or just before we go to MindTap, let me just sort of go over the, let's just take a quick look at Brightspace and what you expect to see. So the course home on Brightspace will look something like this, fairly simple. And I would like you to watch this video. There will be a second video for you to watch as well, which is the one you're watching now. That will also be placed here. But this YouTube video tells you a little bit about what MindTap is. And then, of course, there will be this video that I am currently doing that will tell you a bit about the course itself. We see here that we intend to meet on Mondays from between 5:30 and 8:15 p.m. Now, if you go to the content page, table of contents, you'll find a copy of the course outline there. So if you go to the course outline, here's the course outline and the link to the MindTap course page. So if you click on this, it should actually take you directly to the MindTap course page. And here you go. It looks something like this, MGSC2207, okay, Introduction to Business web course. And so it indeed looks like this. You can see if you're a new student, then you will create an account, pick your email address, same email address that you use in Banner or that you use for communication with me. Create the account, and then it will prompt you for information on your access code, etc. But if you already have an account with Cengage Brain, then you certainly can enter your email address and password and log in. Okay, and then for if you already have an account, but you have not yet registered for the course, when it comes up, it will ask you for your access code for that particular course. So in other words, you could have an account with Cengage, but you could be doing multiple courses in Cengage MindTap. Okay? Each of them having their own access code. So that's kind of where we go with that. All right, if we go back, let's go back a bit. Then you will see here the formula sheets. The textbook have formulas, but I have some variations on the formulas that I'd like you to use, which I think are a little more efficient in terms of doing your calculations. So I would strongly recommend that you use those. So here's the formula sheet that we typically use for the course. And then I have an annotated formula sheet which basically explains to you what the formulas are. And it's useful to actually do that. Go through the explanation so that you begin to understand what each formula is used for, and it helps with the course, certainly. All right. So here we have an in-class, what I call in-class problem workbook. That's where you have those problems that I suggested from the handout that you can use. So when we meet online, for me to do some demonstrations, I will typically pull questions from that handbook. Okay. There are some problems that Dr. Eric Lee has prepared in the past that has solutions. And so each of these sets, there are 5 sets of problems. They actually go from the beginning to the end of the course. The formula that he uses is a little different, but the same concepts are being used in the material. So certainly you could attempt to look at the problems that he solved and practice some of them and check out the solutions to see if you understand them fully. So that's just an additional resource for you. I've also put a sample final exam, and the solutions is from some time ago, but nonetheless, statistics in principle does not change from year to year. We do this, we cover the same pretty much the same topics. We just vary the sort of ways in which we question you to test your understanding. But more or less, we are actually covering the same material. So you have that sample final given to you right there. And as I mentioned to you that I have a number of video lectures and tutorials that I've already prepared in the past. I'm actually reworking some of them because I started off a couple years ago. And as I'm getting hopefully a little better at preparing them, I like to do some of them over. But nonetheless, they are there. And the initial set of videos were based on a book by Grosvenor et al. And so I have included those videos. In principle, they're the same content, same material. The formulas might be a little different. And then, of course, I have started to replace some of those with videos based on our current textbook. But even then, this is the 12th edition, and now we're in the 13th edition. So those things change all the time, but the principles remain the same, is what we need to know. And then here is where we have the online channel where we will go live. So when I meet with you, you will come to this space right here, and I'll be live on YouTube, and you'll be able to ask me questions over in this section right here. And I'll be able to answer those questions, do the demonstrations, and so forth. All right? But right now we're offline because I'm not live streaming. And so things are kind of neatly set up. Now I believe Brightspace does have the facility to host online classes, but I like the flexibility of YouTube because when that's done, the video remains on YouTube and then you have access to it as long as I keep it there. So I would say we will pretty much stick with what we have here, right? And so that pretty much covers the content page for the course. Basically, these are all our supporting materials, and as I mentioned, you would end up going to MindTap for your sort of weekly experience or engagement with the course. So here is what it looks like. Now, I have a number of assignments. So basically, if you look at these chapters, these are the chapters we're going to cover in the textbook. So chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on. And then under each chapter, there are a number of different subsections, but I've only shown you the ones that are relevant. In other words, any section of the textbook we're not going to cover is not going to be shown to you here. Only what we're covering in the course. So as we go through chapter 1, we will be looking at chapter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, etc. So those things will actually be talked about, or you're expected to at least be familiar with it. Chapter 2, and so forth, right? Here are the different parts. Now, your typical kind of chapter layout usually starts out with, why does this matter? In other words, why does this topic actually matter? Why is it important? And then the various subsections. Now, if we go under a particular category, like 2.1, for example, we will see the reading material, where we could either read, if we have a physical textbook, we could either read from the textbook or we could actually read the material right here. So you see we could read frequency distributions, excuse me, and in fact, MindTap has a reader that allows it to read for you, you know? So it's quite interesting that, that this could actually happen. MindTap could actually read for you, all right? And then if we're finished, we can certainly go back, see where we came from. It's easy, you just close this window and head back, all right? Now, if you looked here, you will see that there were some videos in practice. So any video tutorials or examples that MindTap wants to present to you will be shown to you right here. Show me the solution, show me the solution. And you can see essentially what the exercise is about. This exercise shows the number of degrees in the yes and no sections of a pie chart and how they're calculated, etc. So you could basically launch this video and watch it. And that gives you, again, material to work with. All right? Once you're done, you could actually say, I'm going to try this myself to see if I actually understand it. And so here's an opportunity to do a self-test assignment. There are 2 questions to quickly test yourself. You go through and then you answer the questions. And then you could check your work to see if you've actually done it correctly. So it's all there for you to explore, for you to take advantage of, to strengthen your understanding. And essentially, all of the sections are kind of laid out in this fashion, where there is the sort of core matter, and then the videos and practice, right, for you to do this. So here, these are the topics. And in fact, you do have some uh, little, short exercises for you to consider as well, but you don't have to do those. Only the ones that show for grade, you have to do those. Actually, I'll be going through and editing the course to make sure that only the items that you'll be graded on will show counts towards grades. Okay? And so if it doesn't count towards grade, then you don't have to do it. So in a nutshell, this is what MindTap would look like for you, going all the way down through to chapter 14. All right. In this folder right here, course materials, data files, PowerPoint notes, and so on. I could put PowerPoint notes there for you if you want to see the PowerPoint notes as a quick summary. But remember, you have the textbook already. And then the assignments. Here are your assignments: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assignments, and the dates they have to be done. Due on January 29, February 12, February 26, and so forth. So those have to be done on those dates, and as you can see, they all count towards grade. All right. Then here's your test. It's already set, but you will only have access to it until February 18th. As the next one, you'll have access to it March 25th. And so there are no submissions yet, of course, because you're not ready. And then the final exam will be put in there for you when the time comes. Okay? Now, bonus assignments, like I said, I have not decided, but I'm thinking maybe just to encourage you to practice, I may assign 5 bonus points through these and then see what percentage of these bonus points you actually can earn towards your final mark. All right? I haven't decided yet, but I certainly will let you know before we get too deep into the course whether or not we're going to use that facility at all. All right, and then as you do these assignments, your mark will show on each assignment, and you'll see it over here, how well you've done on each of these various assignments. So it's all there, all put together for you quite nicely, and I certainly love the technology. It is interactive. It allows you to learn if you put in the time and take advantage of it. Don't just plug in numbers. Try to understand what you're doing, because people who just plug in numbers usually don't learn anything. So if you want to learn, make sure that you know what you're doing, you understand the context of the material, and then you're able to apply it. All right? So that is MindTap. As I mentioned to you, that I have these playlists on my YouTube channel with all my videos, and the links to these videos are now in the course outline. And here's our D2L interface that we will use for communicating and for accessing supplementary material. This is the live channel where I'll meet you from time to time, and that essentially covers what we want to go through. So when you do get started, first thing to do is to read through the course outline thoroughly, and then go ahead and register in MindTap. And once you've registered in MindTap, away you go. You work through the schedule according to the course outline, go to MindTap, access the course, and then you do the work. So people who do well in this format are students who are self-directed. This is not a spoon-feeding course where the instructor tells you every single thing. You have to take initiative. I've already laid it out. It's in the course outline. All of the topics have already been laid out for you very, very, very clearly. The sequence, the assignments, the tests, they're all there. So you have to be very familiar with your outline and make sure that you follow the sequence of events. One of the things you can do to help you is that MindTap actually has an app that you could download to your phone. So there is a MindTap app that you get from Google Play or the iPhone. I'm sorry, or the iTunes Store. And once you log in with your same login details, what it does for you is that it will actually send you alerts when assignments are due, so that you would know, oh, I have an assignment coming up this Friday. I better get together and set the time so that I could have it done. All right. So that's the introduction to our course. We will be doing that online using a textbook that comes with a learning platform called Cengage MindTap. And MindTap has allowed me to structure the entire course for you, the entire learning path. And I will augment what MindTap provides you with my own tutorials, video lectures, and our connection in terms of online meetings once a week. And with that, I do believe if you do your part and I do my part, we certainly can have a successful course, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing you online, and all the best for 2017. Thank you, and see you soon.